Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. So, let's talk today about purpose, finding your ideal client, or niching down. And they're all kind of intertwined. So, I will explain to you how they are similar, how they are different, and how you identify all three of those. But before I do, I just want to take a moment to reiterate that if you are here, if you are part of the Vibe Mentor community, if you show up and watch videos, if you're subscribed or not, we are all part of a soul family. And as you know, it has been difficult to be alone in this journey for so long that many of us have known things were shifting and changing, had a sense of, the energetics, but really didn't have anybody to talk to. And we've kind of been on this path alone. And I'm excited to announce that I have started a community so that no longer has to be the case. Now it's off of this platform. It's on in a special place where only we can see each other and engage. And we are going to create this community and continue to develop it over time, driven by the members of the community. So I have a course that teaches how to overcome complex trauma, basically the unworthiness wound, the self-sacrificing, the self-sabotage, the overgiving, the people-pleasing, all of those things that cause us to play small, that turn our high sensitivity into a toxic trait instead of a gift. So I will teach you how to heal all of that so that you can step into your life purpose and manifest abundance through it, which basically means create wealth, because we are part of the New Earth construction team. There are a group of people who are gifted, who are here to support in building the new systems that will need to be put in place when the old systems crumble, which is happening right now. So if you have felt a calling to start your own business, if you have felt that there's just something greater for you or for you to do in this lifetime, but you haven't quite been able to get yourself to do it, if you have that knowing of, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I just can't seem to get myself to do it, you self-sabotage, or you just kind of get stuck and overwhelmed, those are the results of complex trauma, that unworthiness wound that I was mentioning. So in this community, we dive deep into how to heal this, how to overcome. And essentially, the trauma is stuck in the body. That's why talk therapy doesn't work. We have to work with the body through a somatic healing therapy. I use something traditionally called brain spotting, which I have renamed as of today, yesterday. We're now calling it trauma spotting through source tapping, because there is an energetic component where we're doing the energy work, not just to identify the trauma in the body, but to heal and call on those energies that we need to heal, to fully remove these blocks. And I have been doing this for close to a year now. I have all sorts of reviews from clients who can speak to the efficacy of this process. And so it's been expensive. It's been difficult for me to roll out to people who struggle with an abundance block due to their feelings of unworthiness. And so now with this community, for only $20 a month, we can start to teach people how to overcome this, how to step into their life purpose, not to mention bringing together the community so that you have camaraderie and support in your implementation of these things. And also, if you're a musician and looking for another musician, we are all here. And so we're starting to kind of put together the little pods of people who have similar interests and similar gifts and purposes. And of course, the support comes naturally through that. So doors officially open on November 11th. If you want to get on the wait list, contact me now. For this week only, the prices are $20. Next week, it goes up to $25 a week, and I'm going to go up $5 each week until we hit November 11th. The doors, like I said, will open on November 11th, and I will close the doors to the membership on November 22nd. So 11/11 we open, 11/22 we close the doors. And the reason I have to do that is because there is a very specific process. We're calling it the success path, where you have to, it's like building on each other. You have to lay the foundation properly in order to be able to accelerate to the next level. And while we want to start with manifesting abundance, we have to remove the blocks first, identify the purpose and value, how we are of service, and so on and so forth, so then we actually can manifest abundance, which will allow us to create the new earth. So community membership name is New Earth Construction Team. Otherwise, the acronym sounds or looks very similar to the term nest. And so I sort of see it as an incubator, right? Come to the incubator nest, where we come and incubate your gifts and help you regrow into the person you were designed to be instead of the person the world has caused you to become. And so I'm really, really excited to do this. I, as a Cancer moon and 4 planets and water signs, I'm very nurturing, very loving. And so I absolutely love the idea of being able to be the mother that, protects the nest as we nurture and incubate these gifts and we incubate the new earth. So come join us. I'm really, really excited about this. We have close to 20 members already, so it's growing every day, and obviously this will continue for many, many years to come. This is the very tiny seed and beginning of something so amazing and so beautiful. So come be a part of the family. Okay, so how do you identify your purpose / your niche / your ideal customer? And I have to give credit where credit is due. I always try to do that. Someone who is informally my mentor, she doesn't quite realize it yet, but I will be hiring her in the very near future. Her name is Melanie Ann Lair, and she is a phenomenal woman. She has a gift for articulating things in a new way and has taught me a lot about my healing journey and also manifestation, which is, I'm not sure if she would claim that to be her niche, but that's what she's really known for. And so when she talks about, I'll just say she uses a term, she says, where do you lead? So when someone is when you are looking for your purpose, your niche, your ideal client, we can look back 5 years ago and look at who you were. And when she uses the term, where do you lead? Look at the elements or the areas of your life and ask yourself, where do I lead? Is it in health? Is it in fitness? Is it in finances? Is it in spirituality? Is it in trauma healing? Is it in architecture? Is it in gardening? So when many purpose-driven entrepreneurs or even spiritual people feel this call, this desire to do something more, this knowing that we chose to incarnate here on earth at this time because we're supposed to do something that matters. There is something big that was put inside of us that will constantly pull at our hearts and not allow us to really sit still and rest and be at peace until we are in our purpose and we are taking action towards that gift. And usually where that first shows up, now it doesn't mean if you're not leading in an area that you're not meant to lead in this area, but you start with where you are leading now. And so for me, that was spirituality and psychology and trauma healing and life purpose. And it's expanding into finances and business and other areas. So look at your life. Maybe it's parenting. Maybe it's relationships. Where do you lead yourself right now? And what that means is you know the things that need to be done and you are able to execute on those things. That you are meticulous about managing the process. You are committed and dedicated to the work that it takes to master this skill. Where do you have mastery? That would be another way of saying it. So that is you could say your gift or your purpose in this moment, that a life purpose is continuing to unfold. And I love the imagery of a lotus flower because it's just ever unfolding and ever unfolding. And that is what this path is like. That who you are is ever unfolding. Your gifts are ever unfolding. The joy and the fulfillment and the satisfaction and the beauty that is life is continuing to ever unfold, and it just gets better and better and better. The more we clear away the trauma and release those wounds and those blockages, the greater we blossom and flourish and grow into what we were made to be. So then the next question becomes, okay, what is my niche? Who's my ideal client? Well, we kind of talked about who's your ideal client. Your ideal client is who you were 5 years ago. Or if you have, in some cases, if you doubt who your ideal client is, the ideal trajectory or focus would be who you were 5 years ago as you were in that process of mastering wherever you lead currently. If you feel that you have a strong passion for music and helping children, but that's not, somewhere you're leading, that does not negate that. If you already have that knowing of where I'm supposed to play or what I'm supposed to do, then you listen to that call, right? You listen to your heart. And then as far as niching down, so in my experience, and I'll just speak for what has worked for me, is that I had I'll tell you the story, I guess. I was in the corporate world, even if you back up even farther, very, very tumultuous childhood. struggled deeply with understanding psychology and how to have boundaries and how to prevent um, more pain in my life, and that caused me to dig into psychology and spirituality, and that's where I began to lead, was understanding the physical body, the way that the mind works with the body, how to make myself happy, how to prevent additional pain, and without isolating, right, to still be healthily engaged in society. And so that's where I started to lead, and that certainly supported my corporate journey, where I was in product development for 20 years. I brought many products, anywhere from paper bags to washers and dryers, to market, and global, international companies and partnerships, and extremely valuable experiences. But when I was graduating college, I was very naive, thinking I'm going to go change the world. I'm going to develop air filters that fix the world's pollution problems. And of course, the naive part of me wanted to believe that, and it took me a good 10-15 years to acknowledge that that wasn't going to happen. Certainly I realized it early on in the Excel documents and analysis of ROI. But there had to be a sort of a come to Jesus moment where I had to just be honest with myself that I was never really going to find the fulfilling that my heart's desire, my soul's purpose, my soul's yearning was urging me towards. And so when I finally left, this ties into kind of what I said earlier, there was a knowing in me. There was a moment actually where I was managing $1 billion portfolio, and that's sort of the ceiling. You can go higher in portfolios to manage, but it was a pinnacle moment for my life, and I knew that especially relative to how long I had been in the industry and my age, I knew that the next step was executive leadership, so either director level or above and beyond. And it was not something that I wanted to do. I found I certainly am capable. I have that ability to put that hat on, as many of us do with complex trauma. We know how to wear whatever hat we need to wear to be chameleon-like, to fit into that environment, to meet the needs of those around us. But I knew that that was not something that was going to sit well with me. I was already struggling with fulfillment in the industry, and to take that to the next level, to forego the creative aspect and solely focus on the politics, it felt like it was going to kill me. I thought my soul would die if I went that route. And so it took a few years, but I knew I had a moment where I knew that had to end. I wasn't quite ready to say it's over yet, but I wanted to tap into, where am I going next? And I asked that question, give me a vision of what my future looks like, the ultimate highest goal for my future. And what I saw in that moment was a very, very long table. It reminds me of the tables in the cafeteria in that movie, the Harry Potter movies, where there's just kids upon kids upon kids sitting at this very long table. And I imagined myself and my partner, whoever he may be, sitting at the head of the table as if these were our kids. And obviously I can't have hundreds of kids, but I knew that there was a supporting of and a nurturing of, an incubation of the talents and the natural purpose and gifts for these kids, and that this was a school, that there was an educational environment, and that these kids had grown up under our tutelage. And so now you can see that that is very different than where I'm at right now. And so I have no education up until that point in teaching or coaching or even life purpose education. It just knew that that was something that, well, that was the vision that came, and there was a knowing in that was right. And there, I would say the early inclinations of that was always that children were sort of drawn to me wherever we would go. I'd always get a smile or a wave, or just a cute little recognition, I guess. The kids look at me in a way like, I know you. And certainly, again, being sort of that mothering type, it's something that I embrace and I love. And I have to laugh because just last weekend, there was a little boy who was leaving the building. He was walking out of the building, and he turned around and he waved goodbye. And I waved to him and said goodbye. And then he turned around and he waved goodbye again. And he turned around and he waved a third time. And I just was giggling by this point. And then finally, the fourth time he's about to walk into the door, he turns around and he blows me a kiss. Mwah. And it was I mean, literally, this like made my week. He was like the cutest. He couldn't have been more than two, right? So just such tremendous innocence and sweetness and love and joy. And I've always viewed children as, and I will get back to the point here, but I've always viewed children as sort of balls of clay. You know, they're so malleable, and yet at the same time, very solid in who they are. You know, as long as they're not traumatized, there's a knowing of what they want to do and what they care about and what they're interested in, and what a precious gift it is to be honored with the ability to protect and hold space for that and to nurture that. And so that was the vision I was given. And of course, gosh, if I look back, that might have been close to 10 years now. And so it took me many years to get out of the corporate world. It took me a few years to try to start the business, go back to the corporate world, and come back to starting the business. And the whole point of this story was whether or not you realize what you're made for or how to find your niche, or I really hone in on your ideal client, it comes through engagement. That you cannot figure these things out from the level of the mind. No amount of thought is going to be able to provide you a plan that says, here's your 5-year roadmap, here's all your milestones, here's the ideal customer, it's set in stone, go ahead and run. It doesn't work that way. And being in the product development world, I can tell you I understand the importance of knowing your customer and market research and competitive analysis and product research and pricing analysis and all these things. And you can do that and it'll inform your next steps, your first steps. But as you move, you will evolve. And so if you are in this place of, I need to know who my ideal customer is, I need to niche down, I need to know what my purpose is before I do anything, I will tell you, you will stay stuck if you continue to believe that. It is impossible to figure out from where you are at. The only way to do that is to start engaging with people. Start offering your assistance, start being of service. Put yourself out there consistently just to be seen. Now, of course, I recognize if you're dealing with the unworthiness wound or the fear of being seen, the fear of judgment, the hypersensitivity where you can feel when people don't like you, or the people pleasing, or the overgiving, all of these things, again, are part of that complex trauma, the trauma that's stuck in your body that needs somatic healing to heal. So I say this under the assumption that if you've followed me for a while, you know what needs to be done and are working on that. So when you have done the healing, then you can start putting yourself out there. And it starts with just sharing your journey, share your story. What have you learned? Where have you grown? How have you, what tips and tricks and tools have you found that work for you? Where do you lead? And how did you learn to lead yourself in that way? And as you put yourself out there, people are going to get to know you. They're going to start to see you. And you can even put out a direct call to action, offering free coaching sessions, offering free trauma spotting through source tapping sessions. I'm going to have to get an acronym for that because it's a little bit long, which I think it sounds like TEST, T-S-S-T. But anyways, offer your services, get engaged with people, and as they start to come to you, and of course, even just that first conversation is going to seem a little bit scary and a little bit daunting, and you're not going to be sure what to talk about, but just be honest and open and just say, I'm here to be of service. I'm not sure how to do that just yet, but I'd love to hear, what are you struggling with right now? Because there's a reason that these people are drawn to you. There are no coincidences, there are no accidents, and as you start to engage with multiple people, there will emerge a pattern. Now, I stepped out into coaching under the premise guy's assumption that I would be helping with their life purpose, and that was what they wanted from me. But what I quickly found out was that this complex trauma is what keeps them from stepping into it. So then that was my indication. Oh, hey, I'm also healing my trauma. I know how to do this. Let me help you. And even getting certified in brain spotting, being able to assist with that. So, what is your purpose? Either the thing you feel drawn to with a knowing, or the thing you lead yourself in up until this point. And that can evolve and change. Again, like I said, it's going to keep evolving over time. How do you find your ideal client? Look at who you were 5 years ago. offer what you lead yourself into that person who you were 5 years ago. You'll see it's a perfect match. And then from there, how do you niche down? It is engaging with people and continuing to identify the pattern of who's coming to me and what is the common problem that they have that likely you already have the ability to help them solve. Okay, a little bit longer than planned. I love you guys. Please do make sure to drop a note below if you want to join the community, or send me an email. I believe it's in the About section. Let me know, hey, I want to put my name on the wait list. $20 pricing. If you join as a founding member, will be locked in for life. You will not experience any price increases as our community continues to grow. If prices increase, yours will remain the same. So again, I love you guys. Please do make sure you like, subscribe, and share. If you are part of the 86% of this community that is not subscribed, please do me an honor and click this button so that we can monetize and make this even bigger and even greater. Otherwise, if you want to just watch this video, it is chosen based on your preferences, so it should be perfect for you. All right, take care, my friends. I love you, and namaste.